Hello dear student, welcome to your social science class. Today the topic that I'm going to explain is from chapter 6, Towns, People and Society in Medieval India. Now here in this chapter, I will explain to you about the different classifications of the medieval towns. Then I will also explain to you about the traders and craftsmen those time, and especially we will focus on Surat, which is known as the Manchester of the East. And then I will explain to you about the social changes towards the north, south, towards the Sultan period, and towards the Mughal period. All right, so let me begin with the townspeople and society. Now, how this modern society came in India? Earlier, it was villages, and then the villages were formed by these small clans, and these clans later on it increased and the villages increased, so it became districts, and from the districts it became towns. Now these towns were like the main area of this kingdom. Like for example, the towns during the Rajput times, the Delhi, Ajmer and Kannauj were considered as the main towns. Why main towns? Was because trading was taking place there. Then even the foreigners came and settled there. They also had trade relations with the Indians through these important places like Ajmer and Kannauj. So since they were playing more importance in this society, in this empire, they became the towns in those kingdoms. So under the Rajputs, the main towns were Ajmer, Kannauj and Delhi. And towards the Delhi Sultanate period, the main towns were Delhi and Lahore. Now Lahore has come under the Pakistan country, all right? So those days, we all know that those days India and Pakistan, India and Afghanistan, they were all one. Later on, during the partition of India in 1947, Pakistan became a separate country, then Afghanistan became a separate country. So now Lahore has come under Pakistan. So those days in Delhi Sultanate times, Delhi and Lahore was another town and cities, the main cities and towns. Now under the Mughal rule, during the Mughal period, Agra was the main town, and when Shah Jahan was the ruler, he also set up his own town known as the Shah Jahanabad. And when Akbar was the ruler, he made Agra as the main city, and he also made Fatehpur Sikri as his main city by shifting the capital from Agra to Fatehpur Sikri. Likewise, depending on their choices, depending on their favor, they made certain cities as the main cities and towns of their kingdom. Then towards the South India, there were also certain important towns known as the Badami, Ellora, Kanchi and Devagiri. So they were the main cities and towns towards the South India. Now coming to the next category, that is the pilgrim centers. Now pilgrim centers are those centers which have religious connection. Like for the Muslims, for the Muslim community, they worship in the mosque. So for them, this Sheikh Shalim Chishti was a main pilgrim center. As for the Hindus, they considered Banaras, Sarnath, this Kedarnath, and this Haridwar. They were the main pilgrim centers of the Hindus. Remember, during the medieval times, the two most important religions were Hindu and Islam. So for them, these pilgrim centers were also divided according to their faith and according to their favor. All right. So coming to the next one, that is the port cities. So port cities also come under the categories of the medieval towns. So these port cities, now these cities, whichever were located very close to the Arabian Sea and the Bay of Bengal towards the east, these cities were known as the port cities. Why? Because they have seaports like in Visakhapatnam and in Tamralipti, which is in Bengal. So they were the main port cities. because they were very close to the Bay of Bengal, and they were close to the Arabian Sea. So they have set up these seaports, and these seaports were the main center for connecting with the European and the Britishers. The British traders, they also came to India through these seaports. So they were the main seaports, and apart from these Tamralipti and Vishakhapatnam, there was also Surat. Surat was another very important port city in the medieval period, and Surat is also known as the Manchester of the East, because in Surat there were Kashmiris, there were also people from different places, like there were also people from, so this Surat is located in Gujarat. So there was Kashmiris, and there were some Multans, okay? So they were all doing trade business in Surat. So Surat became the Manchester of the East, and they were connecting to the eastern countries, like the European countries, and also to the Central Asian countries. So they became the main center for trade and commerce. So these port cities comes under the categories of the medieval towns. Now, under the medieval categories of the medieval towns, one more town is the trading town. I've mentioned to you about the port cities, which had a great business and trading relations with the other countries. And also there were trading towns like Kasim Bazar in Bengal, which was also known as the major trading town of those medieval times, because they were very popular with their silk and cotton production. So the other countries came to this Kasim Bazar to get silk and cotton from Bengal. So that made this Kasim Bazar a very popular trading town in the medieval times. All right, now let's come to the traders and craftsmen. So in the medieval times, there were rulers, there were battles going on, there was a lot of enmity, as well as there was friendship between different rulers. So during that time, these traders and craftsmen were playing a major role in connecting the two rulers, because there was constant trading between the two states. Like, for example, one state was providing cotton to another state, and the other state was providing some metal works, and they were also trade business on gold, silver, and precious stones. So these traders, they used to travel from one place to another, and in that way they were connecting each other. They improved the relationship between two states because of these trading relations. And these craftsmen, the Indian craftsmen those days, they were so popular even in the other countries. So other countries came to India just to get those finished goods from the Indian craftsmen. And we can also find out from the embroidery works and all the beautiful works which are done in the architectures, where the craftsmen design all these things. So through these works of the traders and the craftsmen, we can see that the relationship between these states, from the Mughals and the Rajputs, I have explained to you in the previous chapter that the Mughals and the Rajputs were sharing a very good relation. So because of this trading, because of this commerce and the craftsmen, there was a good relation. They since they share things with one another, since they barter things, right? Sometimes they don't just buy things, but they also exchange the things. They used to barter the things. So it made the relationship very good, okay? So that comes under traders and craftsmen. So let's focus on Surat now. Surat, as I mentioned, was one of the important port cities of those medieval times, because Surat is located in Gujarat, and Gujarat is very close to the Arabian Sea. So they have set up a seaport there, and the Portuguese were the first to come and visit Surat that time. So when the Portuguese came to Surat, they saw the rich productions of Indian goods. They were also very much satisfied with the spices. Then they decided to exchange their goods. So the Europeans also, they bought their things from Europe, and the Portuguese, they also bought their things from their own country, and in return they also bought the things from Surat and took it back to their country, and their tradings and their business really flourished. So later on, not only the Portuguese, but even the other countries came and started visiting Surat. And finally, the Britishers, when they came to know about the business, about the trading center, about the seaports of Surat, they came and captured Surat, and Surat totally came under the control of the British rule. So that is the history about the Surat. Apart from the British, the Surat also had to face so many attacks from the Marathas. Remember that time Shivaji was one of the great Maratha ruler, and he also had his ambition. His ambition was also to take Surat under his control, right? Not only the Marathas, but even the other rulers wanted to take Surat under the control, because through this city, they know that they can flourish, they know that their economy can improve. So many of the rulers were keeping an eye on Surat. However, Surat finally came under the control of the British, because the British have proved themselves to be very powerful, and none of the other countries could defeat them. So all the priceless possessions came under the control of the British. All right, now next is the social change. Now, during the medieval times, so many social changes came up, not only in trade, not only in business, but so many social changes came up. So the social changes towards the northern India was different to the social changes of the southern India. So towards the northern India, what happened was there was this practice of caste system. So there was this four castes, known as the Brahman, the Kshatriyas, the Vaishyas, and the Shudras. Now, these Brahmins were considered as the highest caste in the society. And these Brahmins really enjoyed all the privileges. Though they had to follow certain rules and regulations, yet they were getting most of the opportunities, and they were highly respected, because those days even the ceremonies had to be done in a very different way, and they used to spend a lot of money on the ceremonies. So these Brahmins, they were the ones who could perform these ceremonies, because they had enough wealth with them. And that is why all this led to the thought that the Brahmins were the highest caste in the society, and also the most privileged one in the society. So even the Brahmin women, they enjoyed their status, they were respected wherever they go. Even in the society also, they got a lot of opportunity. They got the opportunity to get education. And even the society during the medieval times in northern India was very peaceful, because most of the time they spend most of their time reading the epics of Mahabharata and Ramayana. So they were religious epics, and since they spend most of their time in these religious epics, they also applied them in their lives, and that led to a peaceful and a harmonious society. So in the medieval times, the northern India had a very peaceful and a good social life. However, because of the caste system, there was distinctions. Like I mentioned, that the Brahmins were considered as the highest class in the society. So the ones who are in the lowest class, they did not have enough privileges like the ones who were enjoying under the Brahmin caste. So for the Brahmin women, another privilege for them was the Swayamvara, where they were given the right to choose their own husband for their marriage. So that was only enjoyed by the Brahmin women. No other caste in the society had that privilege like that of the Brahmin women, where they can choose their own husband. Unlike the other caste systems, where they have to choose their husband only by the consent of their parents, or in most of the cases, it is the family who used to choose the husband for the girl. But for the Brahmin women, it was different, and that was a great privilege for the Brahmin women. Now coming to the South India. In South India, there was caste system, and there were some social evils like the discrimination, social discrimination, like the untouchability. So that was a social evil, and that in this untouchable, what happened is the lowest caste of the society, that is the Shudras, they were meant to do all the manual works, like from cleaning the public toilets to doing all these dirty works. So these untouchables, they were not allowed to come in the public and do anything by their wish. So whatever they have to do, they have to go to a separate place in order to fetch water, because they were not allowed to fetch water from the common well. And then they have, since they used to involve themselves in doing all the dirty and cleaning works, so they were considered as dirty, and they were not even allowed to enter the temples. So for them, there was a lot of discrimination, and they had to go through a lot of suffering and torture from the society. So that was the social evil that was prevalent during the medieval times in the South Indian states. Then coming to the Sultanate period. So in the Sultanate period, there were two main systems that was used during the medieval times. One is the Purdah system. Here in this Purdah system, the women have to cover their face, and they were not allowed to, they were not given much privileges in the society, whether it's about education or whether they want to do anything in their life. They always have to take the advice from their parents, from their family, or from their husband if she is married. So there was a lot of rules and regulations that was binding the women under the Purdah system. Then another system that existed in the Sultanate period was the slave dynasty, and many people were treated as those lower castes in the society were treated as the slaves. So the slave dynasty also popularly existed during the Sultanate period. Now we have another social condition under the Mughal times. However, I will continue with that subtopic in the next class. As of now, let me rewind whatever I have explained to you. So there are certain categories in the medieval times. We have the towns where during the Akbar times, he made Agra and Lahore as the main city and town. And when Shah Jahan was the ruler, he made Shah Jahanabad as the capital city of his kingdom. And we also have port cities and port towns, which are located in the coastal areas, that is near the sea areas towards the Bay of Bengal and the Arabian Sea. And we have Surat, which is also known as the Manchester of the East, because of its connection with the other countries. And there were also Multans and Kashmiris who was living there, and they had a very good skills in crafting. So because of all this, Surat was known as the Manchester of the East. Then coming to the social changes are classified in the four: social change towards the northern India, social change towards the south, social change towards the Delhi Sultanate period, and one in the Mughal period. So in the northern India, the medieval town was quite peaceful and it was harmonious, because the Brahmins were given the highest respect, and there was no such social evils during those times. However, in southern India during the medieval period, there was this untouchable, and towards the Delhi Sultanate times, there was slave dynasty, and even the Purdah system was widely prevalent, right? So those are the social changes. Now in the next class, I will explain to you about the social changes in the Mughal times, and also what are the changes that took place in the caste system. We all know that I've explained to you that there are 4 divisions in the caste system. However, this caste system also took some gradual changes. Then in the last part, I will explain to you about the tribes, nomads, and about the interunits, about the Ahoms. So all this will come in the next class. Till then, take care. We'll see you soon.